Hey everyone, Simon here with Top Tennis Training, and in this video I want to show you how to improve your forehand alone. Now many players struggle in finding a good training partner, they struggle in paying a coach for regular sessions, and they also don't have access to a wall or a ball machine. And they ask us, how can we improve alone when we're simply on the court just with a basket of balls? Now, one of the best ways for you to improve alone is to work on your technique, to really focus in on each area of a particular stroke. So in this case, it's the forehand. So we're going to be looking at 5 main points. The first one is finding the ideal contact point. The second one is achieving racket lag, this motion right here. Next, we're going to be looking at the power position, exactly what you should be looking to do when you reach that position. We're going to look at the movement to the ball and how you should be recovering after you hit that forehand. And finally, we're going to look at the direction of your shot. So the first drill is very simple. We're going to work from the service line, so the service boxes only, and we're just looking for the ideal contact point. Now, the ideal contact point will change depending on if you use an extended arm like myself, or if you have that double bend in the elbow. If I'm using the extended arm forehand, I can hit the ball much more in front of my body because my arm is extended away from my actual torso. With the double bend, you're going to be closer to the body, but it's still out in front. One of the most important elements in generating a consistent forehand that will help you win matches and will help you stay consistent in the big points is generating heavy topspin. And the way you generate topspin is you brush that ball. Now, if you imagine the ball to be a clock, we have 12 o'clock on the top, 6 o'clock on the bottom. When we're hitting our topspin forehand and we want to really generate heavy topspin, we want to feel that we're brushing the ball from below the ball level, so below that 6 o'clock position, up to 12 o'clock. Now, if you're hitting cross court, it will be slightly different. It will be 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock because you're coming across the ball and up the ball at the same time. So keep that image in your mind because this will help you to really brush the ball through that contact zone. So all we're doing in this first drill is dropping the ball. We're starting with the racket close to that contact point. And as soon as you make contact, you're brushing the ball and you're having the top of the racket, so the tip of the racket here, it will extend up towards the sky. So we're going to finish from this position below the ball level in that position. So you're going from below the ball, brushing up the ball, and you're finishing with the top of the racket, the tip of the racket, pointing to the sky. Now, at the same time that I'm brushing up the ball, I can also start to focus on coming down and up with my legs. So as I'm in that position here, I can load up on this outside leg, especially this right leg, and I can feel that as I feed, I then start to come up as I make contact. So that will help you to feel that leg loading and unloading. So I'm loading the legs here, and I come up. Loading the legs, then I come up. Now, if you start to feel that this finish is too easy and you have already mastered that windshield wiper motion, you can then move straight on to finishing all the way across the body. Now, if you're someone who uses the bent elbow forehand, it's the exact same motion, but of course my racket will be slightly closer to my body. Now that you have the ideal contact point and you're producing that topspin, the next step is finding that racket lag. So a lot of players ask us, how do you achieve this racket lag? Is it natural? Is it something that I should be forcing? Now, you definitely don't want to be hitting forehands and extending like this and really thinking about producing that racket lag when you're actually hitting the ball at high speeds, because then you'll likely injure yourself, especially in the wrist or in the elbow. But what you do want to do is break it down so that you actually master that element. So a very easy way to do this is to simply get your racket in that racket lag position. So the bottom of the racket is now pointing down the court, and all I'll be doing is feeding myself once again, brushing the ball the same as in the first drill, and now I'm finishing across my body. So you'll have the two main finishes will be over the shoulder, over your non-hitting arm shoulder. So this is my left shoulder. Or I can finish across the chest and my racket will be somewhere around my left shoulder. Now you could go cross court or down the line with this shot, it doesn't really matter. I prefer going down the line because I like to see that straight line and I'll know if I've made a good clean contact or if I've hit it slightly off center. Now you could play around with the angle of the strings, you could have your strings slightly more closed if you want to have more topspin, or you can have your strings more towards the right side of the court if you want that more flatter kind of contact point. So I'm in that racket lag position, finishing across the body. Once again, I can start to load the legs and start to push off from that outside leg. Now it doesn't matter which stance you use, everything will start with that outside leg, that right leg. If you're playing with the open stance, of course you'll feel like you're really loading up this leg. Even if I want to step in with my neutral stance, I can still load up on this back leg and then step forward to have that weight transfer through the contact point. That's a vital element if you want to produce that heavier shot when you're stepping in with the neutral stance. It all starts with that back leg, so that's why it's important that we work on feeling this back leg loading up regardless of the stance. So now I'm going to close the strings more. You'll see how it produces more topspin because I'll start to close the strings much faster and use that aggressive windshield wiper action just after contact. Again. Now I'll do a few neutral stands and I'll pivot around that front foot to really help me feel that extension through the contact point. So neutral stands, step in, neutral, step in. Now if you use the bent elbow forehand, it's the exact same thing, but my elbow will be more tucked into my body in that racket lag position. But I'm still focusing on the same mechanics and the same finish across the body or over the shoulder. Now before we get into the next drill, I just want to mention that we have a free forehand guide that you can download right away. I'll leave the link below this video. All you have to do is click on that link, it will take you to our website, you enter your email address and we'll send you that free guide straight away. There you'll see the 5 steps to building the perfect tennis forehand, and it's completely free, so don't miss out. In the next drill, we're now working on that power position. So the power position is where you have started the swing. This is obviously the starting base. Now I've coiled up my upper body and I'm reaching a position similar to this. Where the racket head is higher than the grip level, that will create that leverage and it will also give you space to accelerate the racket. If your racket is level with your hand and with the grip, from here there isn't much space for me to now accelerate that racket at high speeds. But if I simply lift the racket head up, it doesn't have to be completely above like a Wawrinka, it could be somewhere halfway, so not flat, not completely up, but somewhere in the middle. Now from here I have space to accelerate the racket, and I also have that feeling of relaxation in my hand. If I hold the racket like so, from this position I now feel stress in my wrist because I'm holding the weight of my racket like this. Gravity wants to do its job and the racket to flop down, but I have to now hold it in that position. Whereas if I lift it up, it's very relaxed, it's very loose, and I feel very little tension in my arm and the muscles. And that's what you want to feel when you're hitting those forehands. You want to feel as relaxed as possible, as loose as possible, and this is a very simple way for you to do this. And in this position you should feel a stretch in your trunk. So those core muscles, you should feel like you've coiled them up and they're ready to then uncoil on the forward phase of the swing. You also notice that my left hand is across the body. This is vital when you're tracking that ball, but also to help you generate that coil. If I don't use my left hand, I'm off balance and I won't get that same coil as if I bring this left hand across the body like so. I'm here now, simply working on that. Same things we've been working on before. So brushing the ball and finishing across the body. I keep that going, but now I add that power position. This is where you can start to increase the racket head speed and increase that power through the swing. This will help you to feel if you can actually maintain that technique with just self feeds. Now I'll show you a few with the bent elbow. So I'm not extending as much, but I'm still reaching a power position and I'm still producing that racket lag. Then back to my extended forehand. In this next drill, we're now working a little bit on the movement to and from the ball. To keep it simple, all we're going to focus on is that split step. So when the opponent makes contact on the other side, I want to be in that split step position, that ready position, so that I can move off in any direction. So the split step is the fundamental component of footwork. You want to feel like you're always doing a split step when your opponent makes contact on the other side. As soon as we land off that split step, we're going to now turn this right foot. So my right foot's going to go like this, and this will allow me to then run in that normal way. If I stay side on and try to move to the ball like this, it's going to be awkward, it's going to be slow, and it's going to cost me a lot of time. So as soon as we land from that position, the first step is turning this right foot, and at the same time we're coiling the upper body. So it's going to be split step, turn, split step, turn. So it's that pivot step that is vital in getting you out to those wider forehands and getting you to any forehand but at high speeds, saving you time and buying yourself time on that shot. So split step, coil and turn. Now moving out to the ball, I get in that position, feed and recover. Once again, split, turn, move, power position, hit, recover. And in this final drill, we're now going to work on direction. So the first two targets we're going to focus on is simply deep cross court and down the line. Now it's going to be a very simple drill. I'm going to be feeding myself one forehand to hit cross court, followed by one forehand down the line. I can mix up the feeds, I can go a little bit higher, I can give myself some low ones, I can give myself some wider ones, I can also give myself some shorter or deeper ones. So you can mix up these feeds, and once again you can do this with a bounce or in the air like a drive volley. Deep cross, high over the net, short one down the line. So deep cross, short one down the line. So there you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on that notification bell so that YouTube will let you know whenever we release a new lesson. Signing off, Simon from TTT. All the best and see you soon, guys. Take care.